Hello guys, it's Charlotte here from charlotteohara.ca, and I am joined today in this video by my good friend Erica from Big Cat Creative. Hi Erica!
Hi.
I'm so happy that you're here joining me today. We're gonna have a really good conversation about a few questions on a subject that I get asked all the time, and that is all about custom templates and Squarespace SEO. So that is what we're talking about today, guys. In case you don't know, Erica runs Big Cat Creative, which is a template shop. So they have lots of different templates that you can purchase and then install and customize on your Squarespace website, which is an amazing way to get websites that, are somewhere in between just Squarespace's general settings, but then a custom website that is completely designed. So templates are incredible. And Erica has incredible ones. Like, you work with all different all types of people, right?
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, you work with,
everyone.
many. Yeah, everyone, exactly. So Erica has kindly agreed to come here and just answer some of these questions because I thought that would be a lot more fun than, me just spieling off. So Erica, welcome. Thank you for your time. I'm so thrilled to have you here.
Thanks for having me.
So let's kick things off. Let's give people a little bit of a 101, like an introduction to Squarespace templates. Like, what are they? What's the basics of how they work? Just give people a quick orientation into Squarespace templates.
Okay, so like we just discussed a little bit before, Squarespace templates are kind of confusing to get your head around. Firstly, because Squarespace itself has their own built-in templates. So if you ever start a site with Squarespace, you have to start with one of their base templates. And those are called Squarespace templates. So right there, things get a little bit confusing. Yeah. So whenever you start a website, you have to start with a Squarespace template. You can't just start from scratch. And then there are sort of aftermarket designer Squarespace templates, and they're also called Squarespace templates. We like to call ours Squarespace template kits because it kind of differentiates them. Yeah. So maybe I'll refer to them as template kits. It might make it a little bit easier to understand. So essentially these template kits are just designs that we create that are built on top of the free Squarespace templates. Because Squarespace is a little bit different than other traditional website building platforms in that you can't just choose a template from someone and then plug it into your site.
Install it really the same way.
Yeah, and that's what you think of normally when you think of a template. Like, it's a plug and play, simple sort of plug in and this is my new design.
Yeah, like
it's not like that with Squarespace. They don't let you do that. I'm not really sure why, but they don't. So this is what we do instead, is that we build designs on top of the built-in free templates. And then depending on the business you purchase from, the delivery method of that design into your website is different. So it depends on where you're purchasing from. And there's three main delivery methods, I would call them. The first is what we mostly do, which is a sort of DIY build. So when you purchase a template, you get access to a sort of like mini course, and it walks you through how to use Squarespace, how to get your website all set up. And then the main part of the mini course is you are actually following us and building the template step by step from scratch. And that sounds pretty intense and like a lot of work. Yeah. And it kind of is a lot of work, but we love this method because it really teaches people how to build their site. And then once they've built it, they can just make edits to it, and they're so confident in using their site. So I think we're the only people that do this method now. Yeah. It's a lot more work on the back end to set up for people, and so most people don't do it. But we see really, really good results from offering this method, so we like it. So that's
and I mean, yours is like, exactly. And the DIY route works really, really well for you. And I mean, you guys are like, Big Cat Creative is one of the biggest, template kit businesses out there. So obviously it's working well and doing it properly. Okay, carry on. Sorry.
Yeah, that's okay. Thank you. So the second sort of delivery method, I'd call it, is that it's like a semi-manual process for the person selling the template, where they duplicate it on their end and send it to you. So it's not technically, it's as close as a plug and play as you can get with Squarespace. So they're basically sending you the completed template. And we do offer this method as well. You can upgrade and get this install if you want to. But the only problem with this method is that it comes in as a brand new site. So instead of getting installed onto your existing site, you have to have it as a new site, which is fine if you haven't got a site yet. But if you do have a site with Squarespace, you then have to move all of your content over to the new site because the design won't go into your existing site. So that's the second method. Really good if you don't already have an established site. Can cause some problems if you do have an established site. And that can cause some SEO issues as well, doing the whole swap over. And then the third method, which is less common, is like a full install, a total manual install from the person you're purchasing from. And not every place will have this. And usually it would be sort of an upgrade. Yeah. And it would probably cost quite a bit more because it's like a manual. They're building it on your site because they can't just plug it in, unfortunately. So did that explain sort of what
it did perfectly? Yeah, I think the biggest thing that people want to know is that essentially when you're buying like a template kit, you're saying, hey, I want the look of the website and the functionality to be like this. So you as the designer has like come up with a variety of different like look and feels or type of website designs and templates that are more than just a base one, but like less than a completely custom one. And then once you buy that template, the template kit, then you're getting some sort of like follow step by step to get it to look and install the same way.
Yeah, exactly. So it's essentially just the design. You know, you're not purchasing any different. Well, I'm speaking for myself in this case because there are some varieties to this, but you know, you're not purchasing like a code that you plug in. You're not purchasing really different functions. You're just purchasing a design that goes on top of just the regular Squarespace platform.
Yeah. And usually as well, you're purchasing to kind of the education and the training that comes along with it.
Yeah.
So amazing.
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. I know that's a big thing. That's a big thing, right? Depending on who's selling it to you. Excellent. Yes. Okay, cool. So let's talk a little bit more about that. So we've covered the fact that when you buy a Squarespace template kit or something, most of the time you're getting all of the design. But one of the things that I get asked about a lot is like what type of pages are used in the template kits. And that, you know, if you think about the fact that it's just a design, then essentially the website is built the same as any other type, right? Like, you know, when it comes to pages, you can still use index pages, you can still use regular pages, you can use a blog post the same way. If you have a product, you can use all of that the same way. So there's no restrictions. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So the only big difference I would see when we're talking about pages is choosing between the two different Squarespace versions on your site, because there are two versions at the moment, Squarespace 7.1 and 7.0, and these have a slightly different page structure. But other than that, when you look at the live demo of the template you're potentially wanting to purchase, you'll see, you know, some pages. Usually there's an about page, always a home page. We have blogs on all of our templates, maybe an info page or something like that.
Services page or something.
Services page, yeah. But essentially, you can add any page you want to, just like you would on a normal Squarespace site, and you can remove any of the pages that come with the template, or you can transfer them into any sort of different page. So because, like I said before, it is just a design built on top of the regular Squarespace platform, you can do anything with it just as you would a regular Squarespace site. So you're not restricted by the pages that come in the demo site.
Amazing. That is so good. And I think that's going to be really reassuring for people to hear, is that you can not only like get these good design aspects, but you're not losing the normal functionality that comes with those pages. So good. Thank you for clarifying that. Here's another question that comes up a lot. People want to know, are the Squarespace templates kits set up with SEO in mind, or do they only focus on design?
Okay, that's a really good question.
And of course, it depends. Sorry to interrupt. I'm going to say here too, guys, that depending on who you purchase a template kit from, they may or may not prioritize design over another, but you can speak from your own experience.
Yeah, I'll speak on our behalf. I can't speak for anyone else in this situation. But well, there is some things that would be would cover most sellers, in that a lot of, and you'd agree with me when I say this, is that a lot of the SEO stuff doesn't come down to design. So there's SEO stuff on design, and then there's SEO stuff in the back end. So there's sort of two different ball games. So the first stuff, the SEO stuff on the back end, unfortunately, that is your responsibility to do. We can't do that for you. We do our best to walk you through those steps after you've built out the design. Again, this is speaking for myself, our products. But so we walk you through those SEO things that you need to do on the back end, but it's not something that can come with the template because it's so custom for you. And that's just the joy of buying a template. You know, you're buying a design and you need to fill out all of the tech sort of stuff, like the SEO stuff on the back end. And luckily Squarespace makes that really, really easy. And we try to walk you through that the best we can. And then when it comes to the actual, did you want to say something?
No, go ahead. Keep going.
When it comes to the actual design side of things, firstly, I would say that we're like very design oriented, people. Everything we do in our business is like from a good design standpoint. And I really believe that having a good design, a functional design, and like a really good customer experience on the website makes a difference for, your website strategy overall, which can affect your SEO. So number one, for us, it's like good design, good function, good customer experience is like number one. So that's where we come from. And then the other two things that I think about when building the actual design is images and optimizing your images. And unfortunately, this is sort of up to the customer as well, because you can't do that for them, because when we provide a template, we provide them with the areas to put the images, the sizes the images should be. But at the end of the day, it's their responsibility to upload their own images. And in that process, we really encourage them and show them how to compress and rename their images before they upload them. But it's not something I can guarantee that customers do.
For sure.
But if you are interested in SEO, please do that, because it's so important.
It is, especially if you have a website too that maybe has a lot of that visual content. I work with a lot of like photographers. Yeah, of course you do. Like people that are photographers or designers or, bloggers or anyone with a lot of visual content on the website. If you're using a template kit, you want to make sure that you're not skipping those lessons that show you how to properly like format, size, compress, and name the images. And so that's great.
Yeah, and we do have customers where they don't care about SEO at all. They just need a home for their website that they can send people to. It's not part of their strategy. And for them, I would say if you're in a rush, don't worry about it. But if you are interested in showing up on Google, which most people are.
People want that traffic.
Then definitely follow those steps to optimize your images. It can seem like a real hassle at the time, but it is definitely worth it, especially like you said, when you have an image heavy website, which a lot of our templates are, because images are amazing. They really make great design. They keep people on your site, and all of the design elements are often uploaded as images too. So it's not just the photos, it's the background images and the graphics and all that sort of stuff. It's all technically an image, and it needs to be optimized before you upload it. And just to explain, if people don't even know what I'm talking about, if you don't optimize your images, they're large and they're slow, and they make your website load really slowly, and Google hates a slow loading website. So.
Shameless plug. I'm just going to say, guys, I have a video tutorial that talks about page speed and like the load time. So if you guys want to learn more about that, and specifically with images, take a look at that video that I've linked to up there. But the big gist of what I think people should know here is that a good Squarespace template kit, like the one that they purchase from something like you, it focuses a lot on design, but does not ignore SEO.
Yeah, no, it's definitely something that can't be ignored. Yeah. And I'm going to put a shameless plug in here too.
Yes. Oh my God, do it.
We have a full video on YouTube. I'm not actually sure if it's released yet, but it should be soon.
It will be when I go and add it. Yeah, whatever.
About how to optimize your images if you're using Photoshop, or if you don't have Photoshop, just how to do it online. rename them,
Amazing.
and then before you upload them. So if you're using Squarespace, we have the same thing in our template kit, but if you're not using a template and you just want to know about optimizing images, we have a full video tutorial on how to do that.
So good. And guys, I'll link to that below too, so that you guys can have that one when it's ready.
I better make sure that we have a link to it.
Even if it comes like a couple weeks later, I'll just add it to the description. Amazing. That kind of brings me, let's just talk, let's skip forward a question that we've kind of answered it, but basically a lot of people want to know if you're using a custom Squarespace template like kit, can you still do all of these really important on-site SEO factors? So, people might have already watched that video that I've talked about where I have on-site SEO factors, but we're talking things like the page title, the headers, maybe internal or external links, the URL slug, like any formatting with a numbered list or bullet points, like all of those things. But we've essentially answered it, but just confirm to the people that what they think.
Yes, you can do it and you should do it. Because your template or the template that you purchase is just a design built on top of a built-in free Squarespace template. That means that you still have all of the same functions, the same SEO functions, and you should definitely do all of that stuff. Follow that SEO checklist and do all of the SEO things. Nothing should be different about your template than, just your existing Squarespace site and the other Squarespace sites. So, and if you want to adjust anything, if you purchase a template and you think, there could be SEO improvements on this, you can easily make them. For example, if we're talking about like header hierarchy, there are definitely some places in our templates where we use a few heading ones throughout the page. And I'll be the first to admit that might not be the gold standard for SEO. And it's a design choice over an SEO choice. But that is totally your prerogative to change. If you think, I want to update the couple of heading ones to heading twos instead, it'll take you about 5 seconds.
And then maybe drop something down from an H2 to an H3 or something. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, totally. And
choose your own adventure.
They do. Yeah, it's totally your own choice. So a lot of that is learning about SEO and like making, decisions. We provide all of that information in the template, like I said, but it's your prerogative to actually go through the information. So it depends on if it's a priority for you and your business to make it a priority.
Yeah, I hope that's like really reassuring for a lot of people, because they're like, oh, well, if I do it, is it, am I restricted? And it's like, no. You can still edit a page and add things and really play around with it. So that's amazing. Let's move on now to another really fun question that I get asked pretty often is, does Google know or care or treat custom designed template kits differently than maybe just a regular Squarespace website that either you DIY'd or you had a designer do for you? Is there any difference in Google's eyes that you're using a template?
Yeah, so I'm going to preface this by saying that anytime you make any updates to your website design, your things might change for your SEO. So as soon as you edit anything on your site, Google might see that change. In terms of actually noticing a template, there's no difference between a template and just designing anything on your site. So you're really just updating the front end design. And as long as you stick to those SEO strategies we talked about, optimizing your images and following the steps, you might even be using a template, because you followed our SEO instructions, which maybe you hadn't had before on your site.
Right.
So it could even be more beneficial. But it's really just a website design. It's just changing some images and some text around, maybe changing some pages around, and that's all Google sees. They see nothing about
they don't land. Exactly. It's not like when they land on your website and start crawling and indexing the content of your pages or whatever, they're not like, ooh, a template, we should penalize them. No, that's not what happens, basically. Yeah. They're just like, oh, cool, a design, it just looks like a designed or customized website. Amazing.
Yeah.
So glad to hear that.
I have two quick things to add to that.
Ooh,
one,
go ahead.
I do know some businesses that actually sell like heavily coded Squarespace templates. I have no idea how those work. They're like developer templates. That goes right over my head. In that case, because you're actually editing the code of Squarespace, that could make a difference. So I'd check to see what kind of, again, that sort of delivery method that I was talking about. And number two is if you're like a lot of Squarespace template businesses now have the installation option, which loads the site as a new site. And instead of creating the design in your existing site, you have to transfer all of your content over to the new site. And that can actually really cause some SEO harm, usually just in the short term.
Yeah, it can usually recover, but you're right.
But it can be a few months there of a significant drop while you switch sites, because for some reason Google recognizes that. I don't understand. That's over my Google mind as well. But you can change a design and they're not too worried about it. But if you actually switch
the sites,
they see that. It must be something in the back end code, or I don't know.
So I think we don't really need to, like, I think that's the biggest thing is, it's to keep in mind that it might happen, but usually it's not a permanent switch. You will recover, but it's something to keep in mind 100%. I love that. Moving on now. Okay, we talked about, like, can you still name images correctly? Yeah, we answered that question. Here's another good one that comes up a lot is that people want to know, do you still have to set up any SEO settings on the back end of your Squarespace website if you're using a template kit? Okay.
Yes.
And
you set them all up.
Yes, you do. Exactly. So what are some of the ones that we might be talking about? I'll just answer this really quickly. People here, sometimes if they follow me, they jokingly hear me talk about the holy trinity of SEO settings. First, connect and verify your Squarespace website to Google Search Console. Second, fill out the SEO site-wide description. And third, fill out all the SEO descriptions for the pages, blog posts, product descriptions, galleries, whatever, on your website. So again, like we've said, confirm to the people that you can still do all of those things on a Squarespace template kit, right?
Yes, you could and you should do all of those things, just like you would.
And you tell them to do it.
Yes.
And you tell them usually when, so this is a big thing too, guys, is that not only can you do it, like we've established, but depending on who you purchase your template kit from, like in Erica's case, they walk you through what to do and point you in the right direction for it. So if you're using a template kit that maybe doesn't have that level of training involved in this template kit, that's okay. It just means you have to then be responsible for it. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Totally. I totally agree with that. And it's not hard stuff at all. If they're listening to this video, like, you're already in the right spot. There are so many other resources. Like, I love to say that we provide all of the resources that you need, but Squarespace has them as well. They're probably on this website too, so you can find that stuff really easily about the steps that you should go through, like the SEO things you should do before you launch or relaunch. It's not hard stuff.
But the thing is, you can still do it. And it's like, it's not like because you've installed a template, now you don't have access to it. No, it's still all there. Exactly. All you're doing really is just the design. Incredible.
Yes, and it's just taking the responsibility to sit down and taking the time to do it is really the main thing.
That's a big that is a huge thing too, right? It's like you don't want to rush the process. You want to actually, like, do the design, do the full installation, but then don't skip the SEO. I love hearing that. Good. That is going to bring us to our final question here, which is, essentially to paraphrase, people say, can you set up or can you customize an e-commerce shop, or can you sell products on your website if you're using a template kit?
Yes. So because the templates, I'm just becoming very repetitive, but hopefully it's helpful. Because the templates
drill it in.
Are just designs built on those free Squarespace templates. The functions are exactly the same as any other Squarespace site. So you can add any pages that you can add on any regular site. With the e-commerce, you do have to be on a business plan or up. So it won't work on a personal plan, but that's the same with any Squarespace site. It's the same rules between Squarespace templates and regular Squarespace site. And you can easily add a shop to any site as long as you're on the business plan or up. And
Totally.
Squarespace makes adding a shop so easy. It's literally just like you click plus and you've added a shop.
Yeah.
We also, in our templates, we have like I think almost an hour tutorial video on like a full breakdown of how to add and use the Squarespace shop feature. So
Amazing.
that's a really good intro if people purchase a template that doesn't have a shop included. Because some of our demo templates have shops and some of them don't. They're really just what we were feeling when we were designing it. So if you're looking to choose a template, it's less about what pages are in there and more about the function and the design, because you can remove and add any pages, including a shop. So that does make it a little bit harder for people to choose because I'm like,
but I love that point.
Yeah.
It's true. You're never like a template. I always think of it, and I talk to people when they're, they come and, they're working with a template that they've purchased, a kit or something. It's like, it's never set in stone. They give you a guide. They give you, like an image of like where you want to go, but it's ultimately up to you to tweak it and make any changes, adjustments, customizations that you want. And the more you know about both, like, the more you understand how Squarespace templates work, how the design is, how pages are built, but then also to like, making sure that you're not forgetting about, using like the headers and, filling out the SEO descriptions or any of those more like technical side of things, then you're golden.
Yeah.
Incredible. Exactly. Good. Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for coming here and answering these questions, because like I said before, I get so many people who come to work with me about Squarespace templates with all of these kind of questions or concerns. And I hope it really just like, first of all, gives people the confidence that you can use a template and not have any penalization really for SEO. But also too, I want to emphasize the point that like the template kits and the installation process, not all are created equal, right? The amount of like training and support and like prioritization of things beyond just straight up design, is worth looking at when you're shopping around for a template, So not saying that you should only purchase a template from, a company like yours, Big Cat Creative, or some of the other big companies that have template kits. But the thing is, like, when you do it from that, that you're getting all of those steps and the training and the resources to make sure that you're building that site properly.
Totally. Yeah. 100%. Good. Couldn't agree more.
Yes. Incredible. Okay. So Erica, before I let you go here, tell people, where can they find you? What's your website? Are you active on social media? Where can people follow you and buy their templates? Like, give me the goods. And guys, I'll link to it all down below. But
yeah, so we are just Big Cat Creative on everything. So bigcatcreative.com, at Big Cat Creative on pretty much all social media. Definitely Instagram is where I hang out most. So come hang out with us on Instagram if you want to, see me be embarrassing on Reels and stuff.
Oh my gosh. I love that, because like, I'm not even on Instagram. I'm literally the only like online business person that doesn't have Instagram. And sometimes I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I not having it? But I'm also just like, works okay so far.
Stay away. So, stay away. It's a black hole.
But it is fun. It is fun though. So, okay, amazing, Erica. Thank you so much, guys. I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope that it answered all of your questions about Squarespace templates and SEO. And we will see you again soon. All right, bye guys, and bye, Erica.
Bye.
Okay, great. I'm going to stop the recording.